Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. We have more Helldivers news and the biggest patch to date, and we're going to get straight into it. So we can see here with the balancing, we have the armor with armor rating over 100 now also reduces damage and headshots. Victory poses will now only play for the extracted. Burning damage is reduced by 15%, which is huge, especially if you're using that flamethrower. Now we're going to get into the kind of weapon side of things, which is just a huge part of the game. We have the CBR9 exploding crossbow, slightly smaller explosions, increased stagger, decreased number of maximum mags from 12 to 8, increased the number of magazines, slightly reduces the ergonomics, and muzzle velocity is increased also. And there's been so many updates with here. We also have the LAS99 increased reach time by 15 seconds. Also with the B14, full auto is now the default fire mode, reduces recoil, and the LAS 98 laser cannon is slightly increased damage, slightly reduced damage versus large volume of bodies. This is absolutely insane to see such a huge update for this game, and it just keeps going. The SGAP Punisher decreases maximum mags from 12 to 8, increase the amount of magazines received by resupply, increase projected speed, but will keep a similar range, decrease damage fallout, and now placed on energy weapon category. The Arc 12 Blitzer increased shots per minute, and now placed in the energy weaponry as well. So from that 30 to 45 for the actual shots per minute. I'm so happy to see it's such a big overhaul of these weapon buffs. We also have the Eruptor, decrease the number of maximum mags from 12 to 6. Explosive damage is now dropped off slightly faster. The Sickle increased the amount of magazines from decreased it from 6 to 3. Sickle increased the damage from 3 to 350. Railgun has got the penetration increase from safe mode and unsafe mode, and stagger force slightly reduced. So this is absolutely insane. The railgun is back, baby, and I'm so happy to see that. Also, we have the heavy machine gun third person crosshair is enabled. Dillinger counter damage increased from 128 to 40. Ergonomics have improved. The 63 diligence damage is increased from 112 to 125. Redeemer slightly increased the recoil, and the Peacemaker increased the damage from 60 to 75. We're going to have so much fun in this game with all these weapon buffs, and it's genuinely coming because of the Illuminate, and we cannot wait. We also have the Senator increased damage from 150 to 175. Speed loader added when reloading on an empty cylinder. Basically, the dagger has increased from 150 to 200. Liberator damage increased from 55 to 60. Liberator concussive is gone with the damage from 55 to 65. Guard Dominator damage increased from decreased from 300 to 275, and the Guard Dog decreases damage by 35%. Now, I know I kind of sped run through all of them, but I cannot believe that we are now getting a massive overhaul to all the guns. It seemed like a long time coming, but we see the railgun coming back, the Sickle being improved, the Liberator's being improved, the concussive Liberator being improved. It's something that I've been shouting for a really long time, to bring maximum damage to the amount of enemies that we are fighting. So it just seems like they've really heard the community and they took their time to actually bring this to us. So let's continue on. We see the MG43 machine gun sentry increase health to match other sentries. The Tesla tower has increased health by 33%. Insane. The Spear added a reload stage. Reloaded after spent missiles that have been discarded. Airburst rocket launcher no longer detonate when shot near stratagems, the HMG and stuff like that, and then reduce proximity radius. The new airburst rocket launcher is absolutely insane. It takes out walkers, but it did have a couple of issues when it came to, you know, hitting it in the wrong areas, that it would blow up, and it had massive team kills, and then also having issues and when it actually hit turrets and sentries and stuff like that as well. So to see that already get changed is a huge hit for this game, and I am buzzing to get back into this. I cannot wait. But let's move on to the next stage. We see the airburst rocket launcher, which we've just gone through. Launch is no longer determined. Enemies, boil spewers and nursing spewers movement speed slightly reduced. Hulks basically required. to stagger slightly has been increased. Scorcher, Ricochet, Flamethrower, damage reduced by 20%. The list just keeps on going on. The gunship sideway movement slightly increased, and then also Scout Strider Rider now less vulnerable to explosions. There's a couple of bonuses and negatives in this as well. Fog Generator's health and armor has been increased. Gunship spewers now have much lower cap on as many gunships they can have active at the same time. So let's just recap a lot of that. We've seen a huge buff to about 90% of the guns there. We've seen changes on the enemies as well, bringing more balance to the game, and I do really believe that this game needed a lot more balance. It did lose a good bit of its player base, but look, at the end of the day, it's still at max capacity of 160,000 players, which is still huge for Arrowhead as well. It's maybe not in the mega numbers that they had before, but we're still getting there. Now let's move on to the next part. So basically, the gameplay. Okay, enemy patrols as well. Patrol spawning has been increased when there are fewer more than 4 players. Basically, the fewer players, the bigger the change. For 4 players, missions there will be no change compared to before, so that's okay. Gameplay made minor level generation improvements in how we distribute locations throughout the mission map. This should improve variations of distance between objects, and objects will likely not spawn. So they're kind of up there for the gameplay as well. I'm not going to breach through all of them because I'm so happy and we have so much to get through. If you need to just stop it, have a quick read. But to see them develop more in the gameplay aspect, even after the gun buffs and nerfs, it's insane. It feels like we're back to what we should be at. Basically, crash fixes, they've taking their time to get around this. A lot of people have issues with it. The big things from here is that when fixed crash when occurred when players tried to enter an occupied XO 45 Patriot suit. So that's something that I had a couple of issues with as well. There's a load of fixes in here, which I think is amazing. They've really kind of given the cycle of this game for players when they're playing it to have more longevity in the game. There's been loads of issues. Even though it's a live service game, there's been loads of issues with certain mechanics of the game, issues with certain uses of stratagems and things within the actual gameplay itself. They're not as bad as any other live service, but they were having issues for the player base, especially when you're on a timed kind of mission that you need to get things liberated and you're losing out on a lot of those super samples and normal samples, XP and ranking up methods as well. So there's been a lot more changes in the game as well from this kind of patch. Realistically, we go through more and more fixes. Like the one thing I seen there was when fixed some issues when various UI elements were cut off. That was a big thing for me. Also fixed the anti-material rifle facing away from the Helldiver after deploying it. That was a big thing for me as well. I tried to use that. Also fixed where the recoilless rifle will consume an extra shell from the backpack if it was reloaded. The reload was cancelled just after the shell was inserted. So these are little things that have huge effects on you in the game. Fix issues where the signal and Quasar cannon could not shoot foliage. That was crazy as well. And then also we seen the autocannon gunship sometimes could not see the player. So a lot of good fixes in this as well. And then the collisions with the hell bombs not being able to kill automaton bunkers. So we've seen these fixes, which just gives us, it doesn't hold us back a little bit more in the game than it was, so it lets us to have that more freedom. Once again, fix issues where hell bombs wouldn't deploy on certain missions. That was a little thing for me as well. And it could be very difficult, especially when you have that big 500 kg bomb or hell bomb come out and it's not happening for you, and you've struggled all the way to get up to a certain point to detonate that bomb. But also fixed issues where stalkers became very visible in the fog. I didn't mind that, to be honest, because stalkers are just absolutely a headache in this game. I'm just picking out some of the key features that I was looking at. Fixed inconsistent audio when headphones are plugged into dual sensor controller while playing on a PC. I've had that bit of issue as well. I've only recently started playing it on the PC, so it's nice to see that fixed. I haven't been suffering for too long. And then added better support to ultra wide monitors by fixing the aspect ratio menus to 16.9. So this is small little things for players when they're on PC. I know PC players were having a big struggle with this game with some of the kind of HUD and the in-game issues on top of that as well. So it just wasn't a smooth transition as PlayStation players were getting. So to see that the actual really focus on the PC players is a nice refreshing aspect to the game, because it's a huge part of the player base as well. And then look at Playing rock paper scissors in front of the ship no longer causes players to fall out into space, which is nuts. And then the APW1 anti-material rifle, AMG 206 heavy machine gun are now triggered hit markers when in scoped, and secondary weapons no longer remain in ballistic shield ADS position after using a stim when the ballistic shield backpack was equipped. I never used the ballistic shield backpack, so if you're using it, there's got a fix for it. So yeah, there's loads. Explosive weapons such as the R36 Eruptor, CBR9 exploding crossbow, and the pistol no longer pull players inwards from the blast, which was nuts. This disabled the squad invites during tutorial, which caused an overlap in the UI. Fixed primary and secondary weapons overlapping in the character model in the armory as well. So there's a lot of stuff that they've gone through just to give a better smoothness of the game, to make the game feel a lot more fluent, especially for new players coming in to play this game. I'm sure when we do get the Illuminate and more missions and more mission types coming into the game, new players and older players will come back. So to have that smoothness in the game is huge. This is the biggest patch they've done, and it's, you know, it's breathtaking to see a studio bring this type of patch out when other big studios couldn't even push anything. But like, look, there is various issues involving friend invites and crossplay and known issues, so I'm not going to read through all of them, but they are there for you to have a quick read. Feel free to pause the video, scroll back to any of these at any stage, but I just want to take the time to actually say that I have slipped a little bit on Helldivers. I haven't been as largely invested as I once was. I've been in and out playing the game, but it's just because I was kind of feeling it was a bit repetitive. There was a lot of bugs that were still popping their head up, pun intended by the way, within the game. And to see this massive fix is just bringing me straight back. The fact that there's now, you know, buffs to the guns, there's kind of, you know, a little nerf to a couple of guns. The railgun is back. I love that gun. So I am absolutely buzzing to jump back into Helldivers, spread some liberty, and really drive this game now, to be honest. And I really hope that this kind of brings faith back into Arrowhead Studios, that they are focusing on the PC side of things. There's been huge complaints on that as well. There's still a lot of fixes that need to be done, especially for crossplay and friend invites, but we'll get there. I really hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I will see you on the battlefield of Helldivers 2. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in. Don't forget to hit a like and subscribe. I will see you on the next one.